Hey guys, welcome back to the episode of Geek Centurions, and this is probably the last rundown we're gonna review we're gonna do for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, since we are talking about the last two episodes. Was it 5 and 6?
Yeah, 5 and 6.
Mm-hmm.
No, that is only correct.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised it's so short. I feel like we could have done an extra episode in there.
Yeah, potentially. But I don't know. Because to be fair, this show was like at least hit with some reshoots. Am I wrong?
I believe so. There was some stuff with COVID.
Because yeah, they were definitely like filming things right around when the whole pandemic started. So yeah, I mean, potentially they might have been able to they may have had an idea for maybe one or two more episodes. I don't know, but I don't know. I think it's.
No. Yeah, it's solid. It's solid. Though.
Yeah. No, it definitely wraps everything up within those 6 episodes. So, for what it's worth, yeah.
Yeah, I will say I think there's some people in it better than others. I know some people that have questions or are confused about stuff. Maybe we can address them here. But no, let's start off with episode 5. So John Walker just realized he did something bad.
Yeah, he's essentially what we pick off where he's basically just running from the scene of the crime, and Bucky and Sam catch up to him and just like, listen, man, you gotta turn yourself in. You know, maybe they can still maybe the punishment won't be that severe or whatever. And obviously it goes into a bit of a scuffle because John Walker's he's like, no, you're just here for the shield. You're not taking the shield from me. You know, it's like,
yeah, he's a little cooked up there.
He's definitely off the rails, if you will. They have a bit of a scuffle. John Walker at one point just goes, "I am Captain America," before getting beat. I think they break his arm. Am I right?
Yeah, they break his arm
just to get the shield off of him, which is
which is probably a great fight scene.
Yeah, no, it's pretty solid, all things considered. But yeah, that's sort of where we sort of leave things off. We do know, because we come back to it, and it's like the GRC have essentially cleared out the camp that Carly was staying, because obviously the people at the camp were helping the Flagsmashers, and they had they're essentially just relocating them and stuff because, hey, you helped people that we deemed as terrorists, so yeah, get out of our facility, basically. And yeah, Carly's gone super underground, and obviously Sam is trying to figure out, okay, we got to figure out where she's gonna be. He decides to take the shield with him. He leaves his old wings behind because they got broke during the fight. Bucky goes off to just find Zemo, because obviously that's a loose end they need to wrap up, if you will. Then after that, Sam decides to head home, right?
Yeah, and that's what the rest of the episode is. It's basically Sam coming to grips on what to do with the shield. He goes back to talk to Isaiah, and it's probably one of the most realist moments in all of Marvel. It's really the conversation that highlights the struggles that Isaiah Bradley had to go through, and kind of he said in his words, no one would accept you or accept someone like me, someone like us of our particular race as Captain America. And really the rest of the episode is Sam coming to grips with that.
Yeah. I mean, there's also a bit of a side plot with them just trying to. They rebuild the boat essentially to sell it off.
Mm-hmm. But they did.
Yeah, but by the end of it, they're like, nah, we can't sell this off anymore.
No, and I know I said that this is mostly Sam's thought process, but also it's just a sweet bonding moment between Sam and Bucky.
Yeah, I mean, overall, the whole boat building process, they call in favors from the family, from everyone in their community to help out, because obviously, I guess their family was generally a very upstanding family that helped a lot of the community. So this is sort of their way of helping them
Yeah,
out.
it's their way of giving back.
Yeah, and it's sort of a nice like bonding moment too, because I used to said like Bucky decides to drop by and help out with a bunch of stuff. We kind of forget to mention that Bucky actually does find Zemo at I think the Sokovia Memorial.
Yeah,
and you think that Bucky is going to just kill him off, but he doesn't.
but then you remember the trailers.
Yeah, but essentially he just has the Wakandan Royal Guard,
The Dora
Milaje, yeah, show up and just take him into custody, and he's like, hey, can I ask you one more favor? And he decides to get some new gear for Sam,
which we find out Thursday in the episode, and we all know what we all find out what it is by the next episode.
Yeah, by the finale, yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Essentially, it's just sort of that sort of like whole process of like Sam. Like I think it just ends with Sam sort of training his butt off to like master the shield in a sense.
And a very rocky montage.
I mean, like he's obviously like running around doing like various exercises, throwing the shield around, perfecting his catch.
And I mean, really, there isn't that much to say because it's really just a rundown of that kind of stuff. John Walker's whole thing.
Yeah, we also have bits with John Walker. Obviously, he's sort of like, you're no longer Captain America. Like,
you killed someone.
Yeah, listen, you obviously like murdered a dude, like in front of a whole bunch of people in an international incident. We can't be having that. Sorry, but you're not Captain America anymore. And he's very much like
and like you're not getting help from us anymore.
Yeah, pretty much. And
because like. One thing was also said that like the government was funding him. They're paying him, for all this stuff, and like that also means like he's out of a lot of stuff, including the money. So like,
yeah,
that's when he and his wife are not concerned. Like, what are we gonna do?
Yeah, and that's when
you want me to look up the name because the name is long, but
the Countess, if I remember correctly,
Contessa something.
Contessa, yeah.
Valentina, or
yeah, she's sort of like, listen, all right, I totally get where you're coming from. If I was put in that situation, I would have done the same thing, right?
Which by the way, it's the Contessa is played by Julia Louise DeFrois.
I don't know who that is.
She's known from she's the lady from Veep, and also she was on Seinfeld. She's a well-known female comedian.
But Seinfeld, is she the lady in the group then?
Yeah.
Okay. All right then. Okay.
Yeah, because I know you've never seen Veep.
No, I have. I literally was like, what was that first thing?
Yeah. It's that comedic show on HBO.
Okay. All right. I don't care. But anyways. She's sort of like suddenly being like, listen, I'm gonna hook you up with some stuff. Just call, answer my calls, all right? Very much leaving like sort of a weird business card, but it's blank, so it's like, But yeah, it's so essentially that's sort of John Walker's spiel, right? He does go and like at least comforts it's not Lester.
Wait, what?
No, his family, the other dude's family.
Oh, Lamar.
Lamar's family. I don't know why I thought Lester.
It's just L names.
Yeah. He comforts Lamar's family for a little bit. And obviously
Such a great scene too.
Yeah, it's sort of like, listen, all right.
Like he told him a white lie.
In a way, yeah, because obviously the guy John Walker killed was not the person who killed Lamar. It was
Carly.
Carly, yeah.
Yeah. And like they want he said that to him. It should make them feel like it's gonna be okay. It's like I don't want you to grieve.
Yeah,
too much. Like I don't want you to be like the killer's out there. And I know.
Yeah, and
plus I'm gonna make sure she's dead.
Yeah, I mean, but by the end of the episode, we have Carly and one of her, Flagsmashers in New York. Essentially, they're like, now's the time. We're gonna plan something big, and they're getting help from Batroc the Leaper.
Yeah, Batroc.
Okay.
There's a T in there, Joey. Come on now.
I'm pretty sure I pronounced the T.
No, you said Batroc.
I said Batroc.
No, you said Batroc. We're not doing this today.
Whatever.
Yeah, okay.
But it's he's like, listen, I don't really give a, he's
I don't give a shit about this.
Yeah, I don't care about your cause. I'm not doing your whole spiel. I'm just here to get rid of the Falcon.
Listen, in my mind, you're crazy as fuck.
I mean, obviously, because he's very much like, I'm a mercenary. I'm just here for the money and for my own interests. You can do your whole little ideological fights away from me. I'm just here to do my job, right?
Listen, all I want to do is get paid and kill Falcon. That's all I want.
I mean, yeah, and she's like, I mean, you'll get your wish because obviously, once we start our whole plan to stop this whole vote on this mass relocation of all the people who were brought back or whatever, or people who were like who weren't brought back to move out, and sort of people who were brought back to move back into their own homes and stuff. They're like, we're gonna stop this vote, right? And that's sort of the plan, and that's kind of where it ends. Sort of like okay, this is essentially setting up the finale.
Well, you also forgot that we get Hanson later, and it's obvious to everyone that Sharon Carter is the power broker, and some people I know that are a little upset about that.
I mean, I will admit, because there is a scene where she's the one calling, Batroc. Like, listen, I got one more job for you. Listen, don't worry. Like the thing that happened in friggin' Casablanca or whatever. Don't worry about it. You got a new job for you. So obviously, yeah. Sharon being the power broker. I will admit, I think I've heard theories about that, and I was very much like, well, that's kind of dumb because, it happened in the previous episode. Like, if she was able to she had that dude recreate the super soldier serum, and she led Bucky, Sam, and Zemo to him to get answers out of him. Like, I'm like, it seems kind of dumb that she would lead someone like Zemo, who knowingly wants to destroy any chance of more super soldiers, to the dude who recreated the super soldier serum.
And I would argue she probably did that to cover her tracks. Like,
I guess, but if the dude is able to just recreate the serum, then it's like, I don't know. It's a little bizarre. It's all I'm gonna say.
It's like to you, it's like, why would you waste a valuable asset?
Yeah, why would you waste a valuable asset just to cover your tracks?
Yeah.
I mean, I get like the whole idea, and as we see later on in the finale, is that she's kind of playing 4D chess essentially.
Yeah.
With everybody, but it's still like, I don't know. That's just it's like giving away your knight in a chess game for no reason. It's like, that's very valuable. I don't know why you do that.
Yeah, it's like you're getting rid of your best support.
I mean, it doesn't make any tactical sense, but
to you,
yeah, I guess to me, but whatever. Anyways, yeah,
because like one of my friends was telling me like he feels like it makes no sense for Sharon to be the power broker. Like, she has no reason to be like evil, and like he was telling me how it would like, it kind of goes against like her and Peggy's whole thing, and I'm like, yeah, but I feel like that's kind of the point. for the second half with the whole Peggy thing, like I feel like it's meant to be tragic. Like, you feel bad that she turned this way because it didn't have to be that way.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's understandable, like the build up.
Yeah.
At least like sort of like to the reveal of Sharon being the power broker essentially. And yeah, like in terms of, I guess, motivations for being kind of evil, is just that, hey, listen, I did, because she sort of explains that her whole reason being there in the first place is sort of like, hey, I helped you guys out, and now I'm
got nothing out of it.
She basically got nothing out of it besides helping Cap and all the rest of them, and she basically was forced to be on the run for her entire life. Yeah. Up until that point, so yeah, she's just
and it's weird because like Cap, Bucky, Sam, they didn't help her out. And for some people, be like, yeah, that doesn't seem very out-of-character. But like, no, that's kind of the point, though. Like,
yeah. The whole them not helping her out essentially is why she's sort of bitter.
Yeah,
essentially. Yeah.
It's like you could have said something, but you didn't.
Yeah,
and like even if you don't want to believe that they couldn't have done that, I'm like, well, they didn't help her out, and so you kind of have to just accept that fact. It's not out of character. It's just
it's more of the circumstances that put this character in a scenario where they have to do things that they wouldn't have normally done, and now they're on this different path now. I mean, that's just character development essentially.
Mm-hmm.
But let's move on to the next episode.
Yeah, where we finally get to see everything come together. It's just a big fight.
Yeah, it's just one big stop Carly and the Flagsmashers from doing crazy shenanigans in New York.
They got the people; they're all held hostage, and Sam, Bucky, Sharon. They brought in Sharon to help out, and they're basically just teaming up to stop Carly. And this is also where we finally see Sam's Captain America outfit.
Right,
and it is amazingly good.
Yeah,
I have one complaint though.
Okay.
There's too much white.
All right.
I'm not saying the design is bad. The design looks good. On paper, it looks good. When Sam's wearing it, it looks great. But sometimes I think it's because the white makes it a little too rubbery.
I guess. I mean, I feel like it's more. I feel like a lot of it is some of the lighting choices. Probably makes the white just very out there. Yeah, it looks like very like
foamy. Like it could break easily.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's a terrible costume. I think it's a great costume. I think there are parts where the white looks very confusing to me on him, especially around the head area. But it's still a great costume. I love that they got him. They got it, on him. And it's basically them, fighting Carly, and Sam basically showing how badass it is to have not only the wings but also the shield on.
I mean, yeah, he's incorporated the shield into his normal fighting style now, and he's he freaking throws the shield, flying into a building. He throws the shield in to hit somebody, and then he lands and bounces and grabs it and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's very it's very interesting uses of it, and makes sort of the fight scenes a lot, I guess, more dynamic. So I mean, yeah, it's pretty and pretty crazy.
Yeah,
how they've done stuff, and they also he's repaired Red Wing.
He made 2.
Yeah, there's 2 of them, which is interesting.
Yeah,
and I don't know, I especially like portions where he just uses the thruster in his jetpack, his wingsuit or whatever, to get extra momentum whenever he charges with the shield, which is that's kind of neat.
I want to see that in a Marvel vs. Capcom game.
I mean, if. But that's something for another day.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot of interesting fight scenes and choreography. Carly's essentially having kind of an interesting heart-to-heart with Bucky for a little bit, in terms of listen, all right, you're on the wrong side, Bucky. Why are you doing all this stuff? It's listen, because I've been down the road you've been down, and trust me, all right,
you're not gonna like it.
You're not gonna like it. You're gonna have nightmares of every single person you've ever killed.
Yeah, and I'm just okay. Yeah, I'll talk about this later. But Carter's nah, I think I'm good.
It's all right. I think, fine. That was a great distraction.
Yeah.
Yeah. Essentially, it's Carly's whole plan is to hold a lot of these GRC members hostage, to essentially just further her goals. And there is one point while the plan's in action that, listen, all right, if worst case scenario, we kill all the hostages. It's wait, what?
Yeah, there's a moment where even here their crew was wait, this isn't part of the plan. I was no, but they need to understand.
Listen, either way, our message still gets through to them, right? worst case scenario, we just kill the hostages. Hope for the best, plan for the worst. And she does her whole one world, one people thing, and her friends are essentially hesitate to finish the line, and it's like, one world,
like, yeah, one people, okay,
yeah, which is,
Jesus Christ, she's fucking nuts.
Yeah, which is interesting, right?
Yeah.
Just to show her progression of like, she has like good ideals and an understandable
Listen, like
goal.
a lot of things, it's a good foundation, but the person in charge of it or in control, or whoever's using it, is not the best person.
Well, it's more of it's good ideals, but obviously, like the radicalism and the extremism essentially pushes it to the limits of like, hey,
Carly?
Yeah, Carly, this is probably not. I don't think this is exactly the best in the world, but yeah, no. There's a whole segment where they essentially do a roadblock to gather the hostages essentially, but then who happens to show up?
Fucking John Walker, and we forgot to mention this, his homemade shield.
Yeah, it's definitely like, one is obviously it's not the original Cap shield because it obviously gets dented so many friggin' times in the fight, but yeah, John Walker's like, listen, I'm here to stop you. And it's like, and Carly just tries to do a whole like, listen, I sorry you killed your friend. I don't like killing people that don't really like aren't important to my cause. It's like, you're saying my friend's not important? His life wasn't important? It's like,
which I'm like, okay, he's got a point though.
It's like, yo, that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, Carly, you fucking killed an innocent man.
And you're like, and you're just saying his life wasn't important to your cause, and that's the reason why you're sorry about it. It's like, listen, if he was totally part of the GRC, man, I'd be fucking happy that he's dead. And he's like, but because he's not, and just his backup partner, he's like, I'm sorry I killed him. I mean, I didn't, he's not part of my whole plan or anything. He's like,
he doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. You just killed my friend.
But yeah, so John Walker,
he was my best man.
Was he though? I don't know. I don't know the history.
I was gonna name my son after him.
I don't. All right, calm down.
Making a whole story down. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, but they have a bit of a fight, as well as Bucky's there as well, doing some other things. It leads to like a whole sort of segment down in this sort of like construction area.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I forgot to mention though. I will say I love what he did with his shield, which is like he added the little metal I don't know what kind of metal it was onto the shield. I think it was Lamar's metal.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. I just thought that was like a cool little thing he did. Just to like keep his mind on like the whole thing.
Yeah, I didn't notice that actually.
Yeah. He added it on there. That's why it cuts to like his like, he's getting beat the shit out of.
Yeah, he's obviously getting curb stomped for a little bit.
Yeah, because it's like 4 super soldiers against 1, and
he doesn't have a vibranium shield.
No, and he's like looking at his shield and he sees the metal. He's like, "All right, I gotta stop bullshitting. I gotta get back in." And like that's why I'm like, "Oh, that's either his, but I think it'd be cooler if it's Lamar's. I'm not sure. Someone can correct me on that." But they have a fight inside the construction field, and it's just John and Carly just fighting it out.
Yeah, it's just like full on like just fueled by vengeance, this man. Mm-hmm. And there comes to a point where Carly essentially, because obviously her whole plan is like sometimes using the hostages as like distractions of like, set the thing on fire so that way Bucky can get off our tail and that we can keep moving forward with the hostages we have left. She does a whole thing where she like essentially pushes the car like towards like the edge of the construction site, and it's going to fall with all those members in there. And John Walker does a very Captain America thing for like
a real quick second.
Yeah, where he actually, instead of like going after Carly, he decides, no, I got to save these people.
Yeah, and it's one of the moments where I keep, some people might disagree with me, but I feel I see more people like coming to my side about this. Is that John Walker is not inherently a villainous person.
No, yeah, it's something we've discussed a fair bit amount of times discussing Falcon and Winter Soldier, is that John Walker is essentially tries his best to be Captain America, but there are moments where he sort of falls that dark side,
Yeah, he does. He doesn't have. I wouldn't say he doesn't have compassion, but he doesn't have the patience.
Yeah, he doesn't have like that sort of ability to just
Talk to someone.
talk to someone. He's very much action now, talk later. And
he's a soldier.
Yeah, and in some moments, yeah, like in he's trying to help stop the car from falling. Of course, Falcon comes in just in time to help the car up, and there's like a pretty funny scene, but also a very endearing scene of like one dude being like, "Yeah, that's the Black Falcon, all right." It's like, nah, man,
that's Captain America.
Yeah,
and I was like, yeah, that was me, because like it's one of those things where like I said, John isn't an inherently bad person. I think he could have, because the whole idea of US Agent is that this guy could have been a Captain America guy, but he just doesn't have the temperament, and he's a little more on the violent side.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, and to see, and while Sam here is probably the more reasonable and the more, reliable of the two, and he upholds like the ideas that Steve has, and he doesn't need the serum. Like that's kind of the idea. The serum doesn't make Captain America. What makes Captain America is his character.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we quickly transition to like Batroc still being around, shooting some gas grenades, allowing the Flagsmashers.
Well, you forgot to mention that Carly was like, "Dude, what the fuck?"
Oh yeah. She's like, "Hey, you're being Captain America now." It's like,
you bought into that bullshit. I'm like, you're the only one in this entire show that's like, "Fuck Captain America," in a show about Captain America.
Yeah, it's like, I'm trying something different. Maybe you should do the same, right?
Yeah.
But obviously, they try to escape through like these under like I guess sewers or whatever. Yeah. Sharon corners Carly.
In the big reveal.
And of course, the big reveal being like, "You're the power." She's the power broker, right? And it's like, "Listen, come back with me, you and all your crew. All right, we can start over again." It's like, "Nah, you just want to like control. You're just like, fuck the world. I'm trying to save the world, right?" Mm-hmm. And obviously, Batroc shows up as well. It's like, "Oh, so you're the power broker? Okay."
I don't care.
I don't. Listen.
If you pay me enough, I'll shut up. Let me just kill someone.
Yeah, and it comes a bit of a Mexican standoff before Sharon's like, "Nah, screw you, Batroc." Shoots him, gets shot by Carly, and Sam sort of runs in just in time to see that,
which I like, because I'm like, she probably thought about that.
Yeah, we're just in time to see Sharon being shot, Carly with the gun, and he's like, "Is this it? Is it how much more people have to die for this?" Carly is like, as many as it needs to, and she has this very sort of vibe of like, "I don't care if I die either, because at this point the movement is bigger than I am," right? Yeah. And Sam's very much like, "I'm not gonna fight you," right?
And he doesn't.
Yeah, he's like very much defending himself, and Carly's like, "Fight back, fight me, god damn it!"
It's a good accent, by the way.
I mean, it's like a, it's like a British accent, right?
I was like you did a good accent on that, but yeah.
I guess.
Also, Bucky and John capture the rest of the Flagsmashers.
Yeah, it's pretty funny too, because they just use the Flagsmasher app or whatever
yeah,
to lie to them. It's like, "We should meet this way," and it's like, "Hey, it's a nifty app sometimes,
Yeah, it's like the iPhone phone finder. Like if you lose your phone, like you just get someone whose iPhone is like, "Oh, it's right here. Okay, here you go."
Yeah.
And like, but it's funny because like John Walker gives like a whole speech from a whole Lincoln, like not the entirety, but a portion of a Lincoln speech.
Yeah, and Bucky's very much like, "Really? Oh, Lincoln speech?" It's like, "Yeah, it's pretty good, right?" It's like not coming from you.
It's like we're cool, but we're not that cool.
Yeah, but basically of course we come back to the fight. Carly's essentially disarmed Sam at one point, and she's willing to pull the trigger, but then Sharon shoots Carly to protect Sam, and with that, Carly dies. She's like, "I'm sorry." It's like, I just wanted to change the world. And she sort of dies in his arms, and essentially get backed up to the surface. Sam's they put her in a gurney, try to see if they can save her, but they don't. And Sam has a bit of words to say to the the people of the GRC. You know,
I'll be honest. When he was starting to, when I saw the speech coming, I'm like, I hope this isn't too, preachy or really annoying. Because like that was always like my issue with like Wonder Woman 1984 is like her whole speech was like really like in your face and like I'm serious. Like there are times where like she would just look at the camera and just say the speech, and I'm like, you're going too much, man. Like it's too. What's the word I'm looking for?
Condescending.
I guess that's probably the best. I think, but it's more like, we get it.
Okay.
Just you're going on for too long. But no, his speech wasn't that bad. It was actually really good.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, I felt like I'm gonna be honest. It felt like a comic book moment. In all honesty.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, it did. It did feel like a comic book moment. Like they just like you know what? This whoever wrote this Captain America issue, we're just gonna take that whole speech, just copy and paste it onto here, and Sam, just read it. Anthony, just read it. Just read it.
Yeah, and it's very much sort of like, listen, you gotta find some other plan to fix this. Moving all these people out is not like the best solution. Carl, this whole Flagsmashers thing, they wanted. They just wanted like help essentially, and this is essentially them pushed to their limits. And we don't, if we continue going down this path, we're gonna get someone like Carly again, and trust me, it's not gonna be, it's gonna be worse. So we have to like compromise. We got to figure things out.
And as much as like I don't like Carly's character for much, I mean, don't get me wrong, I get it, but there are times where like. And this is basically my whole thing with Carly. Is like, she's kind of a broken record. Where like everyone gets it, but you just kind of won't shut up about it. No, like I understand where you're coming from. I completely agree with you, but you're doing stuff that I don't agree with, and like, you're just kind of like on repeat.
I guess I understand. I think I understand the perspective. Yeah.
Yeah, because like in reality. She's not on the bad side, but her actions are, becoming less questionable and being more like problematic.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, I don't hate her character. There's aspects of her that I have problems with, but at the same time, from a writing perspective, I kind of get it because she is meant to be this character who's like, what's the word I'm looking for? Okay.
Sympathetic?
Kind of. But more like...
Understandable.
Yes, understandable. Because like...
I don't know how you didn't know that.
No. Because like, I just had the loss for words. It was on the tip of my tongue. But like, it's... Like, you understand where she's coming from. You understand why she's doing it. And like, she didn't have to be very complex or anything. You just had to like understand her desire.
Right.
That's all you needed to do. Because like yeah, because like I don't think like we don't need to we didn't need like a whole deep dive into her. We just need like she filled the role and we understood it, and we kind of be seeing it over and over again. It was like, okay, calm down, we get it. Like I don't think she needed to have as much prevalent role as she did. I
guess I understand that, but it's definitely, I think, just coming from the it's more it's definitely more of a. It's like her group is like the inciting incident essentially, so that's just starts this whole thing, and that's kind of I think why the story puts a lot of emphasis on her because essentially she's very much like, hey, listen, these people, we don't like how this world's treating us like this or whatever, and we're gonna make ourselves known or whatever, We want to go back to before everybody came back or whatever, which it's very much like she's definitely a character meant to be, like understandably, okay, I get where you're coming from, right?
Yeah.
It's just the methods do not aren't very, good at all. Especially because we do see her go further and further down, very radicalized, like Zemo says. throughout. She's becoming radicalized. She's coming to a point where she can't come back, and you're gonna have to stop her.
Yeah, if you think that she's kind of pointless, then that's kind of also part of the point.
Like, I don't necessarily think she's pointless. I think she's more of like...
Well, I mean, like, pointless is like you get, like, whether it be, the Flagsmashers or her, it's more like, it's an ideology, it can be taken by anyone.
Yeah, okay, alright, I get, alright.
Yeah.
I guess that makes
sense. I'm not saying she's, like, forgettable. I'm saying, like, she is there for a reason.
No, I thought you were talking about, like, she's completely pointless. The story would have been the same if you took her out or whatever.
Oh, no. You needed her.
Yeah. No, I thought that's what you were saying. But
No.
But yeah, just to sort of conclude, the other Flagsmashers that were caught with the super soldier serum, they're sort of being sent to the raft. One of the army dudes goes, like, one people.
Yeah.
Which, I'm going to be honest, threw me for a second. I was like, oh shit, they're going to fucking get out. But then the car fucking explodes.
Because Zemo pulled a Zemo.
Yeah, because it's even funnier too, because for like a second I was like, wait, what? I had to like rewind it because I was like, oh, that's Zemo's butler dude. And then of course we see Zemo in the raft, just sort of like hearing the news that, the other super soldiers were killed in a car bomb. And it's like, excellent. And it's like, yeah,
you can see him doing the little, like Montgomery Burns from The Simpsons, like, excellent.
Like, I mean, yeah.
I could just see him doing that and just that quick little, and just his little reaction to it.
But yeah, it's very, it's very Zemo, right?
Yeah.
Which I'll be honest, I'll say this for later. But we move a bit more forward to like a bit more just a final closing note with John Walker, his whole character arc where the Contessa
Fontaine, right? Valentine Fontaine. I think I said that right. Yeah, she basically like gives him a new suit, which is just like his outfit, just color black. He's like, "You're the U.S. agent now."
Yeah, it's like
we'll call on you when we need you.
Yeah, it's like for the moments, it's a very it's a very like strange world out. Like it's a very like crazy world, and for those crazy moments where Captain America can't be used, we call upon the U.S. agent, right? And John Walker's very much like, I'm back in the business, baby. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm back in, and like it looks like we're gonna be supported for a good number of years.
Yeah,
and I forgot to mention this, but some people. So that character, I knew I heard that name before, not the actress name, but the actual name. I think it's bounced around between her being a character that's well established in Shield history. Like I think she was like Nick Fury's girlfriend in some versions of the comics, is also known as Madam Hydra. So John might not know he's actually working with Hydra.
I mean, that would be kind of an interesting thing about it.
Yeah.
I mean, he is an anti-hero in a sense.
Yeah.
I honestly thought, just a quick little side note or side tangent. I honestly thought it'd be kind of neat if that whole plot point with the Contessa was more of a, like, instead of her, it was General Ross showing up, being like, Walker, I seen what you done.
Oh yeah, you told me this.
Yeah. Where I was like, I'm here to talk to you about a special project we're putting together. We're calling it the Thunderbolts. Because U.S. Agent sometimes joins up with the team, the Thunderbolts, which is kind of because
it's Marvel's answer to the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm pretty positive they don't explode their heads whenever.
Kinda,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I thought that'd be kind of an interesting thing to go with, but I mean, obviously, with her potentially being Madam Hydra, that would be, just as interesting, But yeah, and on like a final note, we come back to Bucky. He sort of like tells the old man from like the earlier episodes that, hey, listen, I know what happened to your son. I killed him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sort of explains sort of his sort of story, and then sort of leaves, kind of like crossing like that being his like last name on the list, right? You know, thanking his therapist, and we come back to Sam visiting Isaiah,
and just having like another heart to heart.
Yeah, sort of like, you know, Isaiah's very much like, I'm gonna be honest, you're special, kid.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're doing some pretty good stuff out there. And Sam decides to, you know, like take him out for a play, take him out to visit the Captain America Memorial, and Sam essentially reveals that he pulls some strings to basically memorialize Isaiah.
And it's such a touching moment, like seeing like Isaiah, who suffered so much, finally get recognized for the work that he's done, for the stuff that he sacrificed. It's a very touching moment. Like you can see him like just shaking and crying.
Yeah, he's very much like, you know, Sam's like, now they'll never forget you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we come back, sort of the episode finally ends with Sam and Bucky just sort of hanging out at Sam's boat. You know,
it's a happy ending.
Yeah, it's a very happy ending. You know, and the show sort of ends with the title crawl changing to Captain America and the Winter Soldier.
And it was just like, that's what's up.
Yeah, you know, basically just showcasing Sam's accepting the mantle and officially becoming Captain America. And there is a after credit scene of just Sharon Carter getting pardoned. You know?
After so long!
Yeah, you know, Sam finally pulling those strings together, you know, keeping his promise. She gets pardoned.
All I'm saying, Sam, is you could have done this a lot sooner.
I mean, to be fair,
yeah,
there was a whole 5 years where half of the population got snapped away. You know, I mean, he got snapped too, Ellie. Don't you forget that.
Yeah, but also, Captain didn't pardon her.
I mean, you know,
she's a victim of circumstance.
It's a victim of circumstance. You know, but yeah, it's she's even offered her old job back, which she accepts, but at the same time, she's still, you know,
she's still a power broker. So
she's still the power broker, and she's essentially going to be using her position back in, you know, to essentially take a lot of experimental government weapons and all that stuff and filter it into the black market, which is like, all right then, and that's
which I love that idea.
I mean, yeah,
she's playing both sides. It makes her interesting because like she's always been interesting in the comics, but it was always tied to Captain America. So what do you do with her when she's not tied to Cap?
Yeah, especially when it's Steve Rogers as Captain America, and not like you know, Sam or Bucky.
Yeah, because like in the comics, there's this thing where like they're still together, even though when, you know, Sharon got aged up to like 40 or 50 years, and then like then Steve loses the soldier serum and he ages up appropriately, and they're both just a nice old couple and stuff, and it's kind of sweet. But like, you know, you can't really have that now.
I mean, yeah, no, obviously they have to do. Yeah, I think that's sort of the maybe that's the whole thing why some people are like a little like weirded out by Sharon's character transitions. Is that like, you know, she doesn't really have a whole lot of things to do if you just keep going with her comic route. So they obviously had to like plan something to like at least make her viable and interesting in future storylines. So making her a villain, making her the power broker, it seems like a pretty solid choice there. But yeah, no, you know, that's the whole series. That's
the whole series, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think this is definitely you know, another, I guess,
it's a very strong show.
Yeah, it's a very strong show for Disney Plus and Marvel. You know,
it's weird because we've all talked about it, you know, just being like a regular MCU movie but as a TV show. You know, all this stuff is not gonna, like, you know, be as, you know, it's not gonna be as impactful as anything else. You know, it's gonna be like another Captain America movie, but it surprisingly became more political.
Yeah,
Like they did stuff that really no one thought they would do, unless you're like a big comic book fan and you enjoyed, Sam's run as Captain America. You didn't think they would go into this whole thing with racism. Like literally, that threw a curveball to a lot of people that I know, because they're like, "Whoa, are we actually going there? Holy shit, we're going there!" Because remember how everyone reacted to the whole police stopping scene?
yeah.
And it's just like, wow, we really went there, Marvel. Thank you for acknowledging this is a thing. And I'm just sitting there like, this is awesome. We're actually going there, because like I said, when in the comics, when Sam became Captain America, he did face a lot of that. So it feels like you kind of need to also address that portion of his character as Cap. Now, not saying that's not saying that wasn't a bad thing. Now, there are some people who are a little nipped that they went that route. To which I'm like saying, have you not been paying attention to like Sam's whole thing?
Yeah, and also I think it's. Cap in like the Captain America movies in themselves have always had some like form of political undertones in them. Obviously, the Winter Soldier had the whole had bits of like Patriot stuff, being like, hey, this whole surveillance state thing kind of fucking weird.
Yeah,
I don't like it. Me, Captain America, no likey.
Yeah, right. And the Civil War's like, we're not a privatized army or group. We do our own jurisdiction, because if we follow you guys, you might send us somewhere we don't need to be going, or we might be going somewhere, or we might not be able to go somewhere that people need us to go.
Yeah, which
is like Cap's whole thing. Like, you're gonna tell me what I can and can't do, not because like you're the government, but because like if that guy needs my help, I gotta go help him. Even if it's just like a small thing. If little Susie needs me to get her cat down from the tree, I'm gonna get Susie's cat down from the tree.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I guess. I mean, you could always call the fire department, but whatever. But yeah, I do agree. At least in terms of like, it's I'm pretty surprised and about just how far we go with the whole political subtext in this show. A lot of and it breeds a lot of interesting moments out of it. Obviously, the use of Isaiah Bradley, is also very sort of like, okay, yeah, no, this is like, this is stuff that's actually happened in the real world. I mean, hell, I think in episode 5 he discusses the whole Tuskegee Airmen for a little bit.
That's right. How like the Tuskegee Airmen were like one of the most like well-known fighter pilots in history. They were heroes, but when they got back, they didn't treat like heroes. And you hear that like throughout history. Like, what was that one guy? He recently won like he not recently, but he won like a gold medal.
It was Jesse Owens.
Jesse Owens, yes, he won a gold medal in the Olympics.
Yeah, and he couldn't even enter the front door of the hotel that they were holding that celebration. He had to enter in the back.
It's like, what the hell? Like, what do you guys like? Yeah, stuff like that has happened in history, and we're acknowledging it. But people oftentimes like don't remember it or choose not to talk about it.
Yeah,
and it's such a real scene that, because literally everything with Isaiah is probably the best scene in the whole show.
Yeah, they're definitely very much like super interesting scenes. They're very good. Overall, I really really liked Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I mean, I feel like maybe a couple cleanups here and there, giving a little bit more character to Carly. Like I'm saying, I don't hate her character, but there are points where she does feel very one note.
Okay.
I think you would disagree with me on that.
I mean, I don't know. I think I think she works fine as is.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just me though.
Yeah. No, I understand. But that's just me. But I'm fine with also the way she is, because she's there to prove a point.
Yeah.
Now here's a question for you. Do you think this is better than WandaVision, or is WandaVision better? Granted, they are totally different shows.
Yeah, they are just. Yeah, it's very hard to compare. I think may have had this discussion before.
Yeah,
that it's very hard to compare those two shows just because they feel very different. You know, they're very, like, WandaVision is definitely way out there and has a lot of, like, WandaVision just does a lot of bit more comedy stuff. I feel like this one, Falcon Winter Soldier, definitely deals in more serious issues or whatever.
Well, remember, we also talked about how WandaVision dealt with different aspects of grief.
Yeah. But for the most part, it also played itself up as well as, like, half sitcom, half weird existential horror stuff going on. So, I don't know. I guess in terms of enjoyment, I probably would say I like Falcon and the Winter Soldier more.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I feel like, obviously both, and this isn't sort of a, because I feel like both shows are enjoyable, very good. I think it's, I don't know, I think it just sort of feels a bit more concise. Everything's at a pretty decent, everything's decently paced, all that stuff. WandaVision, I feel like there are, it can feel a little, I think I remember some people being like, sort of like, oh, the ending is just like how like any other MCU like movie ends, where it's just one person with their superpower versus another person with a similar superpower fighting it out, and I can get that. And also I think a lot of people sort of dog on WandaVision for all the fan theories about X-Men and stuff like that, which didn't really happen. So I don't know. Oh, I was like, whatever, because I didn't get that hugely invested in those sort of fan theories. But yeah, I think I just kind of enjoyed Falcon and the Winter Soldier more, just because I think I liked a lot of the story it was going, and like Sam's progression of it finally accepting the mantle.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, I'm with you there. I mean, I'm a big Cap fan. Of course, I'm gonna be one more on the Cap side, but I do appreciate WandaVision's commitment to being different, and it works. It works. I love how so far. I'm saying so far because I don't know how Loki's gonna be. Each show is kind of their own different thing, and I hope Loki is the same. Because like I think that's what makes the show so strong. Because like the movies, you're gonna get the movies. You're not gonna, you wouldn't be able to pull off the Isaiah Bradley in a movie. Because you need the time and dedication to give it. Yeah,
and I think that's one of the biggest strong points of these Marvel and Disney Plus shows is that we're giving a lot of character development for a lot of these characters. A lot of the side characters that wouldn't necessarily be able to carry films on their own. Although I am pretty interested to see when we'll get like Sam Wilson's Captain America.
I think they just announced they're making a 4th Captain America movie centered around him.
Yeah, that'd be pretty. Yeah, that's pretty dope. Yeah. So I think I'm really happy we're seeing that.
Mm-hmm. Also, I mean, this is just a good question to go on. Maybe to also end on. A lot. So when last episode 5 came out, there's a lot of discussions like, why is there such a big deal for Falcon to take over the mantle? Don't you already have like American Patriot character? The Iron Patriot. Isn't that just good enough? And I'm like, that's totally different. Also, like when it comes to superhero comics, those names aren't entitled to one person. They can be passed down. They're kind of like a mantle,
right? So like
if you watched Into the Spider-Verse and didn't get the point that anyone can be Spider-Man, then you kind of missed the point of that movie.
Yeah, and I guess that sort of lesson, I guess, kind of applies to Captain America as well.
Captain America to a lot of heroes too.
Yeah,
because anyone can be Cap, anyone can be Falcon, anyone can be the Winter Soldier. These are names that can be passed down and given to new generations.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like the whole point of Miles. Is like, especially in the movie Into the Spider-Verse,
and in the original Ultimate comics.
Yeah, true. Because like, Peter Parker dies in the comics in the Ultimate Universe, and everyone's like, "What are we gonna do without a Spider-Man?" And Miles, who was bitten by a genetically altered spider with a little extra stuff added in, invisibility, electricity powers, he's like, I could be Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I'm going to take over for Peter now that he's gone. I'm going to live up to the idea of Spider-Man. So I'm the new Spider-Man. I am the ultimate Spider-Man. So, and like, that's like the whole thing. And in the movie, it also captures that where like, Peter Parker dies and like, really it's like, it's Miles' whole thing is like, I don't know if I can be Spider-Man. I can't, be like Peter. And, the rest, that's why we have like Peter B. Parker, Gwen Stacy, Penny Parker, Noir Peter Parker, and Peter Porker. Like, these are different people who become Spider-Man. Anyone can be Spider-Man, whether you're a really out of touch, I wouldn't say out of touch, like really overweight man, a girl, an anime chick, a pig. Anyone can be Spider-Man. Miles, you can be Spider-Man too. It's all a leap of faith.
Yeah, and I think Falcon and Winter Soldier definitely holds that sort of ideals of like, at least, it ain't the serum that makes the Captain America. It's the guy in the suit that makes Captain America.
Yeah, it's the whole thing that Erskine was saying in the first Captain America movie. We don't need a perfect soldier. We need a good man. Sam is that good man. John Walker is a good soldier. He's not a bad man, but he's someone who would be the soldier.
Yeah,
he'd be more of a soldier than a good man.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying that you can't be both, but Steve was both.
Yeah,
but no, I think that's a good place to end it on. Thanks for checking us out, guys. Thanks for listening to our thoughts on Falcon and Winter Soldier. Oh, we forgot to give a rating. What would you rate this show?
This is a solid. I guess for me, it's like a solid 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
It really sort of hits a lot of those beats. I guess like I guess the only reason why I wouldn't rate it like a 10 out of 10 is just that there are like bits of comedic moments where they kind of don't land.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully there ain't a whole lot of that once we start getting into these later episodes. I mean, there's still like comedic modes, but it's very much into the seriousness and the drama and stuff like that. So that for me, it's a Falcon Winter Soldier 9 out of 10.
I'm with you on there with 9 out of 10. It's a solid show. It does a lot of stuff that I didn't expect it to do, which already hits it over 7, and then like it just ending in a satisfactory note, but also kind of leaving it open to maybe more stuff, which I think a lot of these Disney shows have been doing. I feel like this show could maybe do a season 2. I'm not sure though.
I mean, if it would go for a season 2, obviously the setup of the title change to Captain America and the Winter Soldier probably leads it to being like, oh, that would be what season 2 would be called, right? So I mean, that's probably, I mean, if they wanted to do that, I mean, also I guess what them wanting potentially do Captain America 4, but with Sam Wilson, that's also probably another direction they can probably go with. So it's open. It's pretty open for them, right? They can go wherever they want.
Exactly, and I'm totally down for it. We'll see. Yeah. So yeah, thanks for checking us out, guys. If you enjoy what you hear, you can follow us on any social media platform. We're mostly on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at the Geek Centurions. If you follow us on Instagram, where we are the most active, you'll find a link tree in the bio where links to all the podcasting sites we're affiliated with, like Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Castbox, Spotify, Pandora, all that good stuff. And you also find a link to our YouTube so you can put a face to, the voices you hear for all you audio listeners out there. And, if you're there on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell icon, all the stuff that you kind of already know YouTube does. Help us out there. And if you really want to help us out, we do have a Patreon. whether or not you support us there or not, we will happily accept. Also, and we like to do some stuff out there, but we have to wait and see. Guess this is more of a chance to do things that we need to do. And yeah, that's about it. Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I mean, these Marvel TV shows are killing it. I don't know. Do you think these are better than Netflix shows or?
I don't know. They might be on par.
Yeah,
they might be on par. I'm not sure.
It's kind of hard to beat Daredevil though. I think that one was the most well thought out show.
It's also the one with the most satisfying ending, no?
Yeah.
Everything else gets canceled, like very, very prematurely. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Tragic. Anyway, guys, you have a good one. Stay safe out there. Enjoy what you do. And yeah, it's been me, your boy Eli.
It's been me, Joe.
And we're the Geek Centurions. I hope you guys, like I said, have a good one. All right, signing out. Peace.